Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to the Secret Life of Horror. My name is Danny, and if you like what you're seeing today, please like this video and subscribe. I am almost to 500 subscribers, and once I hit that, I'm going to do a huge giveaway, and stay tuned for that also. And if you'd like to see how big and cool my last giveaway was, go check out the unboxing my friend Larry did of the last giveaway I did. It was a lot of fun to do that, and I'm really excited and hope to do one pretty soon because I just like hooking people up and seeing people just enjoy horror stuff because I love collecting, as you can tell, and I love seeing other people add to their collection. But today I have a very special video for you guys, one that I've been wanting to make for a while and been struggling to make due to copyright issues and just time and stuff, but I'm happy to finally be able to put this out. And so today I'll be ranking one of my favorite my personal favorite horror franchise of all time, and that is the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I love Freddy Krueger. I grew up on it. One of my first memories in life ever was Nightmare on Elm Street 3. It's a very special movie to me. And so all of these movies are hard to rank because each of them I love for different reasons. And so I'll be the first to tell you, I don't think there's a bad Nightmare on Elm Street at all. I think all of the Nightmare on Elm Streets are phenomenal, and it was really hard to make this list. I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard to sit down and decide which ones I liked and which ones I liked less, because in all honesty I do like all of them. But anyways, without further ado, I'll go ahead and dive right in. So all in all, there are 9 Nightmare on Elm Street films, and so I'll go ahead and start at the top. Number 9 of my least favorite, at the very bottom of the bottom for Nightmare on Elm Street, is the remake. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake, I like parts of it. There's a lot of it I do like, but in comparison to the rest of the series, it sticks out like a sore thumb. It's very different, and it tries really hard to be Nightmare on Elm Street. It tries really hard to capture the tone in terms of the horror, and it like tries to capture the scariness of the movies, but it doesn't really capture the spirit of Nightmare on Elm Street. And that's really hard to capture, especially with the ones that Wes Craven made, because they are so stylish and he had that style. But this one is very much missed for me, but I do like it. I do like the movie, and I know it gets a lot of flack, but I don't think it gets enough credit because it is an alright movie. But yeah, the acting is very early 2000s, but it's 2010, so it's not too bad, but it feels very early 2000s.
How's this for a wet dream?
But all in all, I don't like, every now and then I'll throw it in, but it's not a bad movie, but it is at the bottom of Nightmare on Elm Street for me. So number 8, the next one up is none other than Freddy's Dead. Freddy's Dead, to me, in comparison, I could best compare it to WWE in 1994. It was trying very hard to stay true to the spirit of Nightmare on Elm Street and the whole franchise and Freddy Krueger and the lore of everything. But it really did not do that very well. It didn't adapt with the times. It was not adapted at all, and it was very much felt stuck in, not just stuck in the 80s, but stuck in the past.
I want my children back! You know they bring him!
And it translates really well. But there are some moments I do like in this movie. I really love Leslie Dean's character, Tracy.
Do you love me now? Do you love me now?
She's a lot of fun, and I like the scene with Carlos and the chalkboard. I really love that scene. But it's not a bad movie, but yeah, it is, in terms of the rest of them, it's very tacky. I think it's the most Freddy tries to be funny, and most of the one-liners they don't really land. They're just kind of one-liners to be one-liners, and I think they just kind of understood the formula at that point. They're just kind of pushing it out to push it out. But it has a really amazing tribute to Freddy at the end of the movie, so if you haven't seen that, watch the movie, because I love that tribute. Every time I watch the movie, I have to sit through it, because it is so cool, but also nostalgic. And it is really cool. Like I said, there are really cool parts. I love the Inigo the Vita part. I love this so many scenes in that movie because it is, like I said, nostalgic. But that's probably the only reason why I like it. So number 7 is another one that I still enjoy, but enjoy less, and that is Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. Nightmare 5, it's very kind of in the same vein as Freddy's Dead. It tries really hard to maintain the energy and stamina of the 80s, but I feel like it really fell short in that area, because this one to me just kind of like it's a good movie, but it doesn't feel as much as it feels more dramatic. But I do like the characters. I think the characters are really well.
So let's blow this pop stand.
But I wish it wasn't a Freddy movie at the same time. I wish it was kind of just a generic slasher, so that we could have spent more time with certain characters, or I don't know. I felt like that, yeah, I kind of felt like it was overdone, especially the Alice story. I kind of felt like it was a decent conclusion in part 4, but I don't know. Some people really, I know my brother really likes this movie, but like I said, out of the Nightmare movies, it's one that I don't normally turn on all that often. But I'll still watch it every now and then, but yeah, it's not my favorite. So 6, we are actually going to be continuing in order, and it is none other than Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. This movie it's really well done. I've showed this movie to different people to introduce them to horror for the first time, because I think Part 4 is the epitome of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. It's kind of where it reaches its peak in a sense, where well, Part 3 definitely is that, but Part 4, where as much Freddy is definitely a household name at that point, and Freddy is I don't know, just so world renowned. But it is the point where Freddy is very much he's very popular at this point, and so you can very much see it in terms of the way he changes. This is where the shift in Freddy really changes, where he really becomes more quirky and a little bit more funny and stuff. And I don't mind it. I do like the movie. I love this version of Freddy, but at the same time the kills aren't as effective. I feel like they're very mid, except for like the cockroach scene, of course. But yeah, like there's the hand. I didn't like the glove part, like just the glove flying. I wasn't the biggest fan of just either like Kincaid and Joey, just kind of how quickly things happen like that.
Oh shit, Kristen, not again!
Especially beloved characters like that, because it kind of made the third one feel meaningless. But I understand that's how you kind of keep a franchise going, but they didn't do that with Tommy Jarvis, and so I feel like they could have kept those guys going. But yeah, Part 4, it's a good one. Like I said, I watch it every now and then, but it's okay. It's an okay movie. So number 5 is actually a shocker. Those of you that know me personally will be surprised by this, because I watch it a lot, and it is Freddy vs. Jason. So Freddy vs. Jason growing up was always one of my personal favorites. It was one of the very, very few movies that I can quote word for word, and I love that I can be able to do that. But it's just a really special movie to me. I think it's one of those movies that not only capture the time period really well, but it really evolved mostly the Nightmare on Elm Street storyline. It didn't really do much for the Friday the 13th at all. It's actually a very poor representation of Jason and stuff. But I do really enjoy the movie. I really enjoy the action sequences whenever they finally fight.
Die, little bitch.
The characters kind of growing up, they don't really sit as well as they used to, but I still enjoy it. It's very schlocky, but it's the kind of horror movie you'd expect hearing the title Freddy vs. Jason. And I love it. It's one that I always recommend to people, and I actually just watched it with a friend the other day, and I'm going to keep watching it because it's a good one. It was kind of hard to put so low, but I did have to put it so low on the list just because, in my own personal opinion, as a Nightmare on Elm Street film, that's just where I put it. Because in terms of actual movies, it actually might be higher than a lot of them. But in terms of, yeah, the series itself, I think that's where it best fits. So number 4, the fourth best in the series, in my personal opinion, is another one super nostalgic to me, and that is New Nightmare, made by Wes Craven. I thought this one was perfectly captured the 90s, so much better than Freddy's Dead tried to. This one was very much the perfect evolution, especially since it was before Scream. I feel like it was really the first horror exposure to meta, I guess, in a very modernized context, where it's very much established in the real world and things like that. But I love the movie. As you probably saw, I have my New Nightmare Freddy just chilling right there. But I love New Nightmare. Like I said, more than just a nightmare movie, it's just a really well-made film. And it's one of Wes Craven's best. Wes Craven's probably top 3 favorite directors of all time. And he's just phenomenal in this movie. He also plays in it as well, which is pretty cool. But New Nightmare is just so realistic too. It's one of those that I remember watching as a kid and I was scared because of the sheet scene. I used to be scared that Freddy would be popping up underneath my bed when I was sleeping and stuff. But it's so impactful too, especially for kids, especially with the Rex storyline and seeing, you know, your favorite toy being your protector and stuff. I love it. It's perfect cinema to me. And like I said, all these movies are so hard to rank because to most people, I'd say New Nightmare is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I could also say the same about this whole series. You know, the whole Nightmare series, one of my favorite franchises of all time. But check out New Nightmare if you haven't, especially if you love Freddy, because seeing the more realistic and scarier Freddy is so worth it, especially if you just like to see gruesomeness, because Freddy's just so gruesome in this one. I love it. So number 3, what I think is the 3rd greatest, and one of my all-time favorite movies of all time, favorite sequels of all time too, and that is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. It's so nostalgic in so many ways. I remember waking up as a kid and it would just be in the shower scene. Shouldn't be seeing a grown man's butt, but I seen it.
No! No! No!
Or just waking up in the morning and it'd be like just like in Nightmare on Elm Street 2 where it'd be super hot. It'd be like that for us, and my mom just be up there watching. And so, you know, we always got used to waking up to movies and stuff, and Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is always one of the morning time movies we'd always wake up to for some reason. But it's a really good film. It's actually one of the Nightmare movies I always confuse with all the other ones because there's so much, I guess, lore established in the second one, like with Freddy having his own actual dream world in a sense, and the boiler room is more fleshed out, and like the little creepy dogs is like, that one always stuck out to me because the dogs are mad ugly. But I always loved how just how much they really tried to flesh the character out so much more than in the first one, but still stayed true to who Freddy was and tried to give him so much character too, because at that time he didn't have any, which is crazy to think about, that there's a time when Freddy was just scary. But I love that the second one is getting a resurgence in hype lately, especially with that Scream Queen, is that the name of the documentary? I don't remember, but go watch that too if you haven't, if you love this film. But I love Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. So number 2, this is controversial because you obviously know which ones are in the top 2 now. But the number 2, the second greatest movie in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, for me, it is the original Nightmare on Elm Street 1. This one is the scariest of the bunch. This one, you know, I mentioned that part 2 scared me as a kid and New Nightmare did as well, but this one really got to me as a kid. I thought this one was the most serious Freddy, but it's also, I feel like the cast is the most likable, it's the most enjoyable group, but it's also the ones we really spend a lot of time with. We really get to know them really well, but I just love the diversity. Each character is really thought out, each character is different, but you know, you can't beat Johnny Depp's debut, his feature film debut.
You see his face?
And man, it's just a really iconic film to think about what all has stemmed from the very first movie. But I love the kills in the first movie. There's so much blood in it, so much gore, and it's just all around nostalgic. It's all around a good time. I remember the first time actually sitting there watching it start to finish was with my dad, and it was his first time seeing it in a long time, and we both just enjoyed it heck out of it. We had so much fun. One of my favorite memories of my dad is watching Nightmare on Elm Street, and so I'm just such a fan of that movie and this whole series, as you can tell. So number 1, what I think is the greatest Nightmare on Elm Street movie of all time, as you guessed it, it is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors. I got a super amazing chance like no other at Texas Primary Weekend to get to see the Dream Warriors, which was a lifelong dream. But growing up, my very first memory in life, I remember, you know, walking around, barely walking around. We lived in a small trailer. I barely remember anything, but I do remember a couple of things. One of those things is that Freddy worm. One of those things is Welcome to Prime Time.
Prime time, bitch!
And one of those things is the needles from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Let's get high.
All of those. The very first horror movie I've ever seen in my life, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. And what's so crazy is how much I love this movie, because it's such a staple, not just in my life, but I feel like in the series, and it really changed the game because it's such a perfect trilogy. If they would have kept those 3 movies, the first 3 Nightmare on Elm Street, it would have been the perfect trilogy of all time. And I love how much the third one is getting so popular nowadays, and people are really bringing life into it, because it is such a good movie. It is so well-rounded. The dialogue is all great. The kills are great. This is where Freddy really develops a personality, and we really get to hang out with him. But it's just super amazing. I can't tell you. I literally cannot hype this movie up enough. I have a cool newspaper from Texas Primary Weekend hanging up, and it's just, this movie runs deep in my life. There's not a lot of movies that have that. You know, if I was to give you a quick list, it would be Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Child's Play, Tremors, Freddy vs. Jason, Mothman Prophecies, stuff like Dracula, Rose Red definitely, but there's like a certain group of movies that are just like such a staple in my life that put me on this track of horror, all this stuff of going to conventions, making a horror movie with my brother, and it all started with this movie for me. And to me, it's just a special movie, but more than that, it's a great horror film as well. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. You know, I can't tell you enough about, you know, there's like so many iconic kills. There's so much in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 that can be praised, because to me it's a perfect film. 5 stars all around. But anyways, that's my list. That's my ranking of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. As you can tell, I'm a huge fan. I could just talk about these movies all day. I do talk about them all day sometimes with my brother. You know, whenever I have marathons or just feeling Freddy. But I love Freddy Krueger. I know you guys probably love Freddy Krueger. Such an icon. Got my Crypticarium out, my reaction figure. Don't have too much stuff, but you can never have enough Freddy. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you'd like me to do any more ranking videos or anything of the likes. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video.